schedule and busy schedule at the old church on 2nd Street with our club program and all, we felt that we needed more room. We used to rent the gym at the Von Steffensrud School simply because we didn't have facilities. And so after many attempts to come up with a plan of remodeling for our old church, we decided that we needed to expand on new property. The parking problem on 2nd Street was always a problem, along with all the other facilities. So in about '76, we purchased some land out by the Iron Man, out by Highway 169. And it was ideal property, and we were able to get some additional property, the Jankel property, a few years later. So we had adequate room, but we were locked in. We had no access to the property. And then 2 years ago, the property here behind the Iron Man became available for a very reasonable price. And we were able to purchase that property. And with adequate help, and Cecil Johnson and Bob Erickson, our architects, we were able to come up with this building, which is a very feasible operation. Now, we have a lot of room for our club program, which constitutes, I'm sure, something over 100 children, so every Wednesday night. The Lord's blessed us in acquiring this building. It's been a real fun project to work with all the guys, and it's all been done by volunteer labor. It was a real nice, a real good project.
The start of this building perhaps started with a dream. My wife and I would sit around in the evenings and sketch out different ideas which we thought might fit the new church site. And then we showed some of these plans to various friends that come over for coffee, and we'd sit down and say, well, here's a concept that we could possibly use. Had some drawings made up and showed it to the congregation. They were very enthusiastic. We then started working drawings and proceeded on, and we had groundbreaking that fall, I believe was, I don't remember the exact date, and started construction. I've spent some 1,900 hours on this job, which involved design, structural, plumbing. We worked with the electrical. We spent a lot of time ordering material, and we're still in the process of ordering material for the job. We had a lot of help on this project. Tim Berg, Mark Velocic, Greg Sjogren were here just about every day. And of course, much other help during evenings and weekends. And these men spent an awful lot of time. There was work outside by Cliff Stahl. He did grading, and there's so many we can't hope to. We had electricians help, and Phil Johnson helped, and there were so many that helped in the construction. And of course, this helped keep the costs down. We were about half the cost per cubic foot of a building of this size, which is the normal cost would be. So we did quite well.
The kitchen of our old church, the former church from which we moved out of, was a small kitchen, cramped and inefficient. And yet many, a banquet, a dinner, receptions, any occasions that called for food were able to be prepared and served from that kitchen. So it did fill a need. But when we planned the kitchen for the new church, we wanted it to be more spacious, to have more facilities. And so that is the way that it was planned. And we found now that it's a great deal of pleasure to work in that kitchen, and that it makes it much easier to prepare and serve the foods that have been planned. And we aren't aware yet of all the ways in which this kitchen will be used now that we do have the larger serving facilities in the fellowship hall. And so we're looking forward to that. And as we work in the kitchen, we just thank God for giving us this new church and the kitchen that more adequately will meet our needs. And so it's going to be a real delight to be able to work in there.
When I came to Chisholm in 1985, this church had been in business for quite a while. In fact, they were about the 80th year. And right away I heard about this plan for a building. They've been praying about this, I know, and it just seemed like it was going to take a miracle for it to happen, because they had the property, they purchased a pretty good piece of property. But I learned long ago that in church growth, 5 acres is a minimum. And they told me they had about 2.5 acres for the church. And I didn't get up and preach about it, but I told people personally, you know, you've got to have room for parking and for expansion. And I had no idea what God had in mind. And then about a year and a half ago, God opened up a property where we are right now with almost 12 acres of land that we never dreamt that this would be the spot. And I've heard this ever since, that boy, that's the place. That's the best place you could have found in the city of Chisholm. And so the thing that struck me was that God has plans. You know, we have our plans, but He has plans. And to see these people so not just united, but so excited and so enthusiastic to do something for God, you know, and to fulfill His dream here in this area. And this, the fact that I'm up in years now, 68 years old, you know, I should be kicking up the daisies or something. But boy, I tell you, it's been exciting to be here. My wife Grace and I have just, it's been great to see that coming together, a group of people that want to see something happen. And for the range, you know, that's something else. You're supposed to be kind of Down syndrome and ready to, you know, just watch things happen. But this church has said we want to make things happen for God, and that's been the result. I'm really pleased to be here. Our new library is really a very accessible place in our new building. I'm sure we know, during the dedication of our new church, it became the historical center. Now, when I say historical center, it wasn't simply pictures of the building of the new church, but the mementos. People brought albums from the events of the church over the past several years, and it was exciting for people to come and see the pictures of former pastors and friends who have moved away and some who have passed away. The long sought for goal of completing all of this work and seeing the building completed was really culminated at the time of the dedication weekend. This began with an open house day when friends from all around the area, from Cook and of course from Virginia and from Keewatin, gathered to tour the building. And you could see the excitement in their faces as they were surprised, I believe, by the quality of the work and the extent of this building. Many had told me before they had seen the outside. They thought, my, what a big building that was going to be. But when they saw the inside and saw the gymnasium and the church building itself, the sanctuary and the Sunday school rooms, there was kind of an overwhelming enthusiasm, not only by our people, but by those who came to observe. I think everyone loves good music, and I think that Christians have the most to sing about. We had the most wonderful musical groups in our dedication services this year. We were able to not only invite, but to have come to Chisholm wonderful speakers. They came from different parts of the country, and we had some of our friends from the range.
This place, as beautiful as it is only a tool. It's a tool by which God purposes to reach this community for Christ. As a pastor on the range, I am convinced 100% the Spirit of God is beginning to move in new and wonderful ways. And I think you're going to see that the fields are white for harvest.
200 miles any day to meet an 85-year-old lady who's built a new house. And I mean that just amazes me, and I believe in the wonders of God's grace and His power. But you know, the average church, the average Baptist church, at least in Texas, according to a study that was done by the Southern Baptists, lives to a ripe old age of 70. The average church. So and here you are at 85, catching a second wind and building a new house. And I think that's just a fantastic thing. It's great to be here and to offer my congratulations on behalf of 147 sister churches across the state who tip their hat to you and say, this is something that you have done in order to simply open the door to see God work in a greater way in this community and in your church. And I do believe that commitment will be honored in a special way if we share in your joy.
And like the children of Israel, we murmured and complained as we wandered through the time. And things changed around, and so tonight, in all fairness, Lord, we're sorry. We really are, because we did mumble and we did complain. But you, in due course of your time, have provided, and we thank you for it.
Will be the gift of hospitality. I said it's true. And you are good at that. You are really good at that. Just keep doing that. Come sit by me. People say, I can't win a person to Christ, I don't know how. Well, the gift of hospitality can be used in the service of evangelism. And you use it very, very well. And inviting people are hospitable people. When you come in, you feel good, don't you? You're also people who go out to knock on the doors for people who invite.
That great city. Well, don't think for a moment that God is taking a jab at the poor people of Nineveh and suggesting that they were so stupid they didn't know the right hand from the left. I think what he was saying is, these people desperately need to know more about me. And I will withhold my judgment so that they can know. And we live in a community and on a range where people don't know the right hand from the left. And that is not to say that they are stupid. It is to say that they have yet to experience the goodness of God and His gospel and His salvation. Hey, we're in this thing together. And together, God is going to use Chisholm and Virginia and Cook and Grand Rapids and all of our ministries in order to reach a hurting and lost world for His sake. And so the word I bring from the rest of us as part of the Baptist ministerial is Godspeed. Continue to be patient. His timing is everything.
My sisters and my brothers, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make His face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up His countenance upon you and give you peace. In your going out and your coming in your rising up and your lying down, in your labor and your leisure, in your laughter and your tears, until you come to stand before Him in that great day when there is no sunset and no dawn. Amen.
If we can help people in our community to find and know God and live for Him, that's the purpose for why we have a church building at all.